Hello, and welcome to Season 2 of Young Valley Leaders, where we feature the upcoming movers and shakers in your backyard, making it happen for themselves and our community. I'm your host, Holzman, and today I'm here with Brady Yocum.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. Can't wait to get down to it.
Heck yeah, I can't wait to get down to it either. Definitely going to dig in a bit. And Brady, you and I have a fun story going back to the schoolyard days. I mean, we've known each other for a good long time growing up in the west end of Allentown, going through Allentown School District. Fun fact, our siblings were in grades of ourselves. I don't know if that came out the right way. But it really wasn't until recent that you and I kind of reconnected and have been able to, know each other a little bit more and start to dig into our professional and personal relationships. So thanks for taking the time and coming out on the show here today. A little bit about your background here. After high school, you decided to stay in the Lehigh Valley, and we'll touch on that a bit here as you attended DeSales University to pursue a career as a physician's assistant, and you've done it.
I'm here. Yeah,
you're here.
Led me to exactly where I wanted to be. So
good,
yeah.
And that's critical. Healthcare is such a dominant industry, rightfully so, with our current population needs here, both in the Valley and beyond throughout America. I'm excited to dig in. We have not had any guests on the show regarding healthcare industry specific, so we're looking forward to hearing your perspective here today. So just to jump right in here, could you just tell us a little bit more about yourself, your background, education, and really what was the journey that led you to not only stay in the Lehigh Valley, but then, post DeSales to take you where you are today?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and like you said, I'm happy to reconnect after all these years. But yeah, I came up through Allentown School District, same as you. I went to Allen, and kind of wasn't until my junior year. Up until that point, I thought I wanted to do engineering or accounting or something like that. But I got hurt during baseball, injured my arm, and started meeting all these PAs and physical therapists and doctors through that kind of injury process. Got super interested in medicine, realized that, wow, the career I want to do is I want to help people, and this is a great way to actually obtain that. So I started researching a little bit more into that, do I do nursing? Do I do, whatever? Started taking some anatomy classes at Allen, got into that a little bit. And then after all the research, and I kind of came down to wanting to be a PA. And then simple enough, DeSales is one of the best programs in the country. And it's right in our backyard. So applied to that, did the 3+2 program, which most PAs do now.
What is that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay.
So basically, I graduated undergrad in 3 years. It's a
cool.
facilitated track. Now, you don't graduate, but you get all your credits in. So you start grad school technically your senior year.
Wow.
So your fourth year, you're in grad school.
It's expedited.
It is. It's quick. It's 18 credits a semester, typically.
Wow.
And all the science-y, all labs.
Busy.
And it's busy. It's a lot of work, yeah, for sure. But you get it done quick. And that was my goal, come out at 23 with a master's degree as a PA practicing medicine. And so that's kind of a background of my education.
That's incredible, man. So for those that maybe don't know or don't know the specifics, what is a physician's assistant, or as you mentioned, a PA, and what's that day-to-day role like?
Yeah, so a PA is a physician assistant or a physician extender. There's a million different names for it, but I'm going to stick to physician assistant, even though they technically changed the name to physician associate, which I hate. I can't stand it. I don't like it. I don't like the word associate. But so basically what a PA is we do almost the equivalent thing of a doctor. I would say probably about 85% of the things a doctor can do, we can do.
Okay.
And I've really, most of my career at this point, been able to practice on my own. If I'm in the ER, obviously you go through training and you have a physician or a doctor helping you through things. Once they trust you, I've been on my own. So I'm kind of taking care of my patients, ordering labs and images and CT scans, MRIs, prescribing medications just as a doctor. The schooling is the biggest difference. So we go to school for 2 years, which is a grad school program. Like I said, you come out with your master's versus a doctor goes to undergrad for 4 years, med school for 4 years, does at least 3 years of a residency program. So you're right there, you're looking at, minimum, what is that? Quick math in my head, 11 years, right? Yeah. So if you want to do anything more in a specialty realm, you're adding at least 3 to 4 years on top of that. So probably closer to 15 years.
And you're looking at your mid to late 20s
mid to late 20s or 30s.
Depending on what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. So most doctors are now starting in their late 20s and 30s, but most are average probably mid 30s. So coming out as PA 23, you get ahead of everything.
Okay. Yeah. And as part of that, you've had a lot of different opportunities here, I imagine, to quickly find a job, just because of the dominant healthcare industry here, St. Luke's, LVH, and Jefferson, let alone private practices. I know you're with Patient First right now.
Yep.
So, like, what is that healthcare industry, or just how does that play into our community here, and how prevalent that is, as someone that's in it and maybe someone coming out and looking to get a job right away, but also then the opportunities once you're in it to be able to kind of maneuver, different roles, different careers, different organizations. What does that look like?
Yeah, I love our area for that reason. Like, I think getting into healthcare coming out of the Lehigh Valley area is such a smart move, because I even just looked up today, 40,000 people are employed by other St. Luke's or Lehigh Valley alone, not including those private practices, right?
Wow.
So that's driving a lot of our economy, getting a lot of jobs. And I think, in school with DeSales, and Moravian has a nursing program, and Cedar Crest and St. Luke's has a nursing program, like, it's so easy to come out of school getting jobs here and stay here. So I think they really do it right, one, to have a lot of chances to get employed, but also keep people in the Lehigh Valley. And a lot of people stay after residency to stay with St. Luke's in Lehigh Valley. St. Luke's just started the first medical school in the Lehigh Valley, and I know that Lehigh Valley Health Network works with USF. So there's a lot of opportunities here, and I think they both drive the economy. I think it's great for the Lehigh Valley, and they're going to continue to grow. And I hope they never merge. That's my only thing. I hope they continue to drive competition.
The two networks?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope they continue to drive competition, because when one builds a hospital, another one builds a hospital. It just adds more jobs. It adds more opportunities for Lehigh Valley. So
I would have never even thought about the two of them merging, because it doesn't seem like that's the case here.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think it'll happen, but I'm just saying, I think the driving of competition is good for the Valley. I think it's great.
Definitely. And you touched on an awesome point about, being able to stay here, find jobs that then give people confidence that they can stay in their local community, and whether they're from the Valley originally or they came to the Valley for school, but then have an opportunity to start their career right here, whether that's 5 to 30 minutes away from where they either went to school or where they're living. And that's critical, because when we were growing up, you were seeing a lot of people leave, whether it's leave for college or come here for college and then leave after college to go find opportunities. And I think now in this time of life in 2025, there's just so many opportunities in healthcare, but also other ways that are promoting and prompting young people like us to stay in the Valley, just because of not just the quality of life, but truly the opportunities across so many different sectors.
Definitely. And DeSales promotes that a lot too, because they have such good connections with all of these specialties and providers in the area that we shadow with or go to, our training with, when we do our rotations and stuff. So I think they do a really good job of giving us the opportunity to make connections and then get jobs. And that's what happened with me. I got my job in the ER. I did a medical rotation with them, and then, made through that connection, was hired later.
So what's the ER like, man?
Man,
that's got to be intense.
It's intense. It was really fun. I think COVID burned me out a little bit, to be honest, but I still love it. I mean, it's great. Saving people's lives and kind of, making connections with staff and patients and just doing real work is really fun. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yep. Makes sense. Love that. And thank you for your service, because we need people like you to be able to help all of us.
Appreciate that.
So knowing what you know now, what would you say to those that are looking to pursue a career in healthcare, maybe even specifically as a PA, or maybe even those that are already in that career but are just kind of swimming, trying to figure out what their next move is?
Yeah, I think that healthcare is an amazing place to be. I think that career-wise and the field you're in is awesome. I think it's very you can give back to the community a lot by taking care of patients, but I think my biggest advice is go in for it with the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like, I went into it knowing I want to take care of people. I feel like I'm a really empathetic person, and that felt like it fit the bill for me, and it does. I get a lot of satisfaction out of the job. But I think that's the most important thing is that, you're taking care of people. So that is the most important thing going into it. I think as long as you're going in for the right reasons, that's big. I also think shadow as much as you possibly can. I worked as a tech in a hospital. You could do shadowing with any of the doctors or staff or anything like that, because you want to give yourself as much exposure to it as possible, because medicine's great and I know people want to practice it, but you really then see all of the other things, working interprofessionally with all these different people, and there's a business side to it, and insurance is a headache, and it stresses you out. It's like I have anxiety, and there's times where it really gets to me, because it's a really stressful environment. So I think just making sure that you can handle it and it's something you actually want to do is all you can do and move forward with it if it feels right for you.
You know, what are some of those challenges? I mean, would you think about, core being like wanting to help people? I got to imagine you also see a population of people that kind of don't want to be helped.
Yeah.
Even if they say they do or they need something explicitly.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much you can do bringing a horse to water but not making a drink type of situation. So, I mean, I'm sure there's other challenges aside from that, but that's just what came to mind.
Totally. And I think that is really difficult because it's like I feel like you watch Grey's Anatomy, right? And it's like rainbows and fairy tales, and you think it's awesome. You want to get to do it, but then when you really get to the reality of it, it is kind of a customer service job too. Like you really have to deal with people well, and it's frustrating. I mean, you look at any personal interaction with people, it gets hard sometimes, and you really have to just buy in with trust with the patients and stuff like that because you're taking care of them. Like the best advice I ever got was treat every patient like it's your favorite uncle. Right? It's not your mom, it's not your dad, but you're close enough and you love that person. And that's how you should treat that, and that's how you gain trust with the patients. But there are patients like that just don't want to be helped. And you're kind of like, then why'd you come in today? So, you hit those roadblocks. And then from a business aspect too, sometimes there's business decisions that don't always, I think, seem to help the employee or what's best for, because at the end of the day it is a business. So you have to deal with those headaches a little bit too. And insurance. Patients can't pay for certain things, and then they have to get approvals. And so all of those things factor into all this that becomes a lot more complicated than just practicing medicine.
Yeah, it's probably even more complicated than, a straight up business, right? Because it's technically a nonprofit, and then you have, like you said, insurance that is kind of running a lot of the payers side of things, and then you have the healthcare organization. So it's like a kind of convoluted loop that your average person doesn't know how that works out. Like they're not aware of all of those back in it. They just need the service. Right?
Exactly. And it's so much more complicated than that. So I think that's what my point was kind of more, if you can understand that and like get exposed to that early, it's not so much a shock then when you start practicing medicine, right? Because it's really not, 90% of it is practicing medicine, but the other aspect is dealing with all the other things that come with it.
So changing it up a little bit, are you involved with any organizations, associations, clubs, things like that outside of work?
Yeah. So as of right now, I joined Temple Bethel. I'm Jewish. So joined that. So looking to get a little bit more involved in the Jewish community. Started taking classes with the rabbi.
Pretty big Jewish community here in the Lehigh Valley,
yes.
Especially out in the Parkland area, West End, Allentown.
Definitely. Yeah. So I'm looking to try to get involved in there. Joined the JCC, also in Allentown. So
Nice.
looking to get a little bit involved there. I definitely have the itch. I would say I'm not too involved, but I want to be more. But, in the past, I've taken on students and mentored, and I know we've both gone back to Allen to give some speeches about our careers, and I've done that at the sales as well. So kind of continuing those things as well as it's getting more involved in the Jewish community.
Yeah, that's incredible. Definitely important to get take part in the community that you feel close to home at here and give back and just get with like-minded people that you share similar values and beliefs and missions with. So I wish you the best in that.
Yeah.
Any projects or initiatives that you're most excited about right now?
Yeah, so we just, personally, we just bought a house.
Heck
and
yeah.
I shared that with you. So, we closed end of January.
Nice.
So
congratulations.
Thanks, man.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm
it's a tough market right now.
Tough market. We got a good price. We're happy with it. My wife and I, this is our first house together. I had bought previously. We lived together, but this is our first purchase together. So we're going to be doing renovations. Big step. We're super happy, and can't be more excited to do this with my wife and plan out, what our house is going to look like. It's going to be great.
I'm super happy for that, and for you, and for her, and I can't wait to see that vision come to life. I'm sure it's going to be pretty incredible.
And again, staying in the valley. I mean, we bought in Allentown. We want to be. We call it the invisible string theory. I'm sure all the Swifties out there heard the song.
Okay.
You haven't heard that song? You're not connected to
I know. Probably if I heard it.
Okay. Yeah. So basically it's just that I feel that way with my wife, right? It's like she grew up in Parkland, but we grew up 2 miles away, basically on the borders of Parkland and Allentown. We're at the same high school basketball, games together, same bars. I went to the sales, she went to Lehigh. Never met her. Have been in the same room with her probably hundreds of times. Finally found each other. Now we feel that same way about the Lehigh Valley. Like we feel like there's like a pull to us and our parents are both here still and stuff. So yeah, I mean that's been important to us is to stay and raise our kids here because we love it. And Yeah, so we're excited.
That's incredible. Yeah, especially here in the Valley, it's like, 1 to 2 degrees of separation with people. You say, like, if you have 6 degrees of separation in the world, you could know everyone. And here in the Valley, certainly that's brought down to 1 or 2. It's
100%,
such a small world, definitely a small valley.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break here. This is Louis Holzman with Brady Yocum on Young Valley Leaders, and we'll come back to you soon. All right, and we are back here with Brady Yocum on Young Valley Leaders. I'm your host, Louis Holzman, and we are digging into the healthcare industry. We are digging into Brady just buying a house, staying in the Lehigh Valley, and all the excitement that goes around the opportunities that are here, whether you're in healthcare or really many industries and beyond. 56 billion, I believe, was the Lehigh Valley's GDP economic output last year.
Incredible.
It's larger than 2 states then in themselves. Pretty crazy. So definitely a lot of opportunity here in the Lehigh Valley. You mentioned that you're out and about in some of the community organizations with Temple Bethel, with JCC, certainly going back to your schools to give some talks. You mentioned your wife. How do you balance work, family, and play while keeping time for yourself?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I mean, that's what we all have to learn, right? You have to learn that, balancing your million jobs and interests and stuff, and you do it well. But it gets you sometimes. You gotta, it gets you. So I think what's nice is I commute, a lot of times, and that downtime can help me personally. But my priority is always my family. You know what I mean? And, obviously friends too, but family comes first, and my wife and my dog and, parents and stuff like that. So,
shout out Jasper.
Yeah. So, I put that first above all. And then, we try to, stake out time for friends and stuff like that. But I think the important thing is just not driving yourself too crazy and making sure, like you said, like taking those trips, and saving for those and going and getting a reset. A lot of companies now, including my old company, is now giving you they want you to take a week off to reset because studies are showing that it is important that you do that. So
it's better for them if they give you that time.
You're coming back refreshed, and it's true. I mean, you do. Like you can work hard. It's great to work hard, but when you drive yourself into a wall all the time, you're just leading yourself to this stressful end. So, that's my wife and I love to travel, so that's mostly what we do. We take those every couple months, every 6 months. We take a nice trip and reset. But yeah, I mean, we're having Shabbat dinners every Friday with family or with my wife or. Not that we keep Shabbat, but we try our best.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Yeah, and then, try to see my parents, and we go down to my sister who lives in Virginia, and, we see her side of the family as well. So I think, and then when we make time with friends too. So I think you just balance it out. We have a fam cow, and that we can do the best we can.
Yeah. Any either upcoming trips or past trips that you care to share?
So we went on our honeymoon. We did an extended honeymoon in France and Italy.
Oh,
and
wow.
that was just incredible.
Venice
was my favorite. Hers was Cinque Terre, and that was awesome. Can't go wrong with either France or Italy. But actually, Quebec City was a shocker for me.
Okay.
Best food I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Quebec City.
Shout out Quebec City.
Insane.
I've never been.
It is beautiful. You feel like you're in like a Disney movie. It's like stuck in the 1600s. Stone buildings. We ate at this one restaurant that was like upkept since 1648.
Wow.
Looked original. Like amazing food. Like it's a good mix of like French Canadian food, great wine. Like totally check it out. Very like romantic getaway.
Will do. Yeah, I mean it probably. I got to imagine just based on my experience being in Montreal, and I'm sure they're 2 very different cities, but they're as close to a European feel as you can get in North America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Montreal I didn't go to, but I heard that's more of like a city kind of vibe, right? Is that a little bit more metropolitan?
I don't know. I don't know comparatively to Quebec City how big it is. I have no idea.
Okay, Quebec City.
But I just mean like the general culture of you have a French influence, like stuff like that.
Definitely, and they fought hard to keep the French influence, so it's kind of nice. Like it feels European, and while you're in North America, it's awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing that. So thinking about being back close to home here, what do you do for fun in the Valley? Any best kept secrets or hidden gems or, must do's or C's? Anything maybe you do on a routine basis?
Yeah, so I would say I'll start with best kept secrets. I thought a lot about this. So actually right over here on 3rd Street, UNT. Chinese.
Okay.
The best Chinese food in Lehigh Valley. Actually, probably even my favorite Chinese food I've ever had.
Wow.
And
shout out UNT on 3rd Street.
Right over here.
Right here in Southside Bethlehem. Never heard of it.
Food is incredible. Now, you can still get like your typical like takeout Chinese. Like I get General Tso all the time, but like you can get like really authentic stuff there and dim sum and all that. It's so good. My wife has known about it for years.
Is it Chinese or Szechuan? A little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both,
Okay.
yeah. But man, it's good. So check that out.
Okay.
Right by me, La Herencia El Camacho.
Okay.
Fantastic Mexican food. No one's ever heard of it.
No?
Probably. It's in Catasauqua. Amazing. Check it
Okay.
out.
Can you say what it was again?
La Herencia El Camacho.
Herencia El Camacho.
Yeah, that's my best.
No,
My best I can do.
That's
I don't know if
good.
I'm
You
doing
killed
that
it. You slayed it.
And then I've told you about this one. Savory Grill.
Yes, you have told me about that
Scheitz
one.
Holtzville, right
Yeah.
out by Bear Creek.
Okay.
Phenomenal French food. You're going to pay, but it's really good. Yeah.
It's part of the experience,
Yeah.
I'm imagining.
So, we're foodies. We like to go out to eat a lot. So we like trying new restaurants. Melly in Easton was really good. That just opened. That's Yanni's sister.
Okay.
If anyone who knows who Yanni's is.
I've been there once.
Yeah. Greek food, Mediterranean, very good. They just opened up. Time just opened up in Easton. They're great too.
Time's solid.
So I can go on and on. But those are some of the new ones we like and some of the best kept secrets, I think, that people don't know about as much.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything outside of food? And if not, no big deal.
Allen Township Dog Park, if you have a dog, is amazing. It has it's huge. Two
Allen
separate.
Township.
Allen
Dog
Township.
Park.
It's in Northampton.
Yep.
It's right by Catasauqua High School.
Okay.
We take our dog there. He loves it. Huge. It's two-sided, and it's huge. Small dog park and a big dog park. So they separate the dogs, which is nice. You don't have to worry about fights and stuff like that.
Sure.
My dog loves it.
What kind of
We've
dog
met some
do you
good
have?
people. Our Jasper?
Yeah.
He's a mini Aussie Doodle.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's a little 35-pound chunky little man.
Yeah. So he's in the small side.
Yeah, he's small. Yeah, but he's thick. So.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Check out Allen Township Dog Park
Yeah.
if you got a pup in your life.
Yep.
So bringing it up a level here and kind of the purpose of the show, what does being a young leader in the Valley here mean to you or in your career?
Yeah, I actually, to be honest with you, I've never really thought of myself as like a leader of the Lehigh Valley. Like, I feel like you are involved in the leader of so many of these different organizations and clubs and things like that. So I kind of admire you for that. I don't know necessarily maybe because and that's my point. I have the itch to kind of get more involved in an area and give back. But I guess I thought about this on a day-to-day basis. I guess I kind of am in a way because I'm taking care of patients and things like that. And, I just hope that I give the best care to every patient. And like I said, I do treat them with empathy and stuff. And I feel like that is probably my way of giving back, to the community and things like that. And just, at times probably, saving lives or attempting to save lives and things like that in the ER and now more outpatient in the urgent care setting. But I love it, and I always feel like I get a satisfaction out of knowing that I did my best to take care of your family member or you.
Sure. Yeah, just to qualify, for you, but also for anyone else out there that may be listening and kind of have similar thoughts about themselves in, a leadership role. Being a leader in general, let alone here in the Valley, doesn't mean that you're the CEO or the founder or, the executive director or anything like that. It really is about how you carry yourself in your day-to-day and, what impact you're able to make and kind of the decisions that you put forward to not only drive your life forward, but also drive, other success in other people's lives that are around you in whatever you're doing in your day-to-day. So I think that's, don't downplay yourself on the impact that you definitely make.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Even higher level here, what are some core values, principles, or guiding efforts that you live and work by that you attribute your success to?
Yeah, so I think, again, being in the healthcare, it's all about honesty, integrity, and, that's important for sure. That's one. But two, I think just, it's all these things are pretty cliche, but I feel like working hard, you can obtain anything. And I mean that. I always have just kind of made sure that I'm putting my head down, working as hard as I possibly can. I feel like I got that kind of from my dad and that kind of work effort and ethics. And
shout out to Dad.
Shout out to Papa Yokes. But no, seriously, I wasn't the most intelligent PA in my class, wasn't the most intelligent student, but I just feel like I put the work in, I did as hard as I could, and I'm exactly where I wanted to be at age 30. You know what I mean? So I feel like if you set your mind to do something and, it doesn't matter where you come from or what obviously there's some challenges and barriers in the way for people for sure.
That's life.
But that's life. But I feel like, I got here through hard work and like I said, I think nothing comes easy to me, but I feel like I've gone through some adversity with that, and I've made it. Other thing too is just everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I truly do think that I have faith that everything will work out in the end, no matter what. Even through negative experiences, you missed that job opportunity, you didn't get the job, or that breakup that you took really hard will always lead you to where you need to be. And I do find that gives me a lot of peace, knowing that everything will be exactly where it needs to be at the end. So.
Yeah, I love that. Particularly, going back to what you mentioned around hard work, I'm such a firm believer in you make your own luck, and people are like, oh, you're so lucky. It's like, well, you worked really hard to put yourself in a position to then quote unquote get lucky.
Yeah.
And so I think, being exactly where you wanted to be at 30, it wasn't by mistake. It was very intentional on the path that you took and how to build the life that you were trying to live.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I by 30, I imagined having, a house and a beautiful wife and, kids eventually and, a dog and, all that kind of stuff. And, I agree with you. I think that came true. Like, I have a beautiful wife and we bought a house and all those things. And it's been intentional, but I've worked hard for it. So yeah. I think that's definitely something that's obtainable for everybody.
Well, cheers to you and success to date, my friend. I look forward to keeping up with you and seeing how that evolves over the next few months and certainly years to come. Mm-hmm. How can people find you, follow you, or get in touch?
So I think the best way is either through LinkedIn. So just Brady Yocum, and I'm sure you'll see this on the podcast or whatever, and then my Gmail is brady.b.yocum@gmail.com. So those are probably the two best ways, and then we can kind of go from there.
Love it. Appreciate the shout out there. Mm-hmm. Any advice, final comments, words of strength and encouragement for our upcoming leaders listening in?
Yeah, I'm excited for all the future, especially leaders in Lehigh Valley, but also healthcare providers, and obviously want people to reach out. And I love mentoring and talking like this, and I'm excited about the healthcare field and love giving my feedback and some advice. So if anyone is interested and wants to reach out, go for it, because I love bringing people up to getting where they need to be in their life as well. So
nice, and I can speak firsthand to some of that experience. So certainly reach out to Brady if you're swimming in your healthcare journey or maybe at the beginning of it and just want, because that is really important, right? Having a mentor in some way, shape, or form, whether someone that is 2 to 5 years older than you or it's someone in their 50s or 60s, people that have what you want or have done what you're aiming to do already can give the best advice or guidance on getting it done, right?
Yeah, and I think I'm real about it. I don't leave out the negative stuff too, and I feel like that's important because you got to know what you're getting into. But overall, I love it, and I think most people do too because it's such a great industry to get into.
Yeah, I think you'd be really, really, really hard-pressed, if not impossible, to find any type of career or industry or, frankly, anything in life that doesn't have some type of negative with it.
Oh, my God, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Just nothing's perfect.
No, never. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Well, anything else here before we wrap up?
I don't think so, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. It has been a lot of fun. Conversation's been great. And that about does it here for episode 13 of Young Valley Leaders. In the books here. Big thanks to you, Brady, for joining us and bringing valuable insight to the healthcare world, particularly being a physician's assistant. I certainly learned a lot, and I believe others will too. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and we welcome any comments or questions for our listeners. You can find the show airing live monthly on WDIY 88.1 FM on the second Monday of each month at 6:30 p.m. and forever streaming with all other episodes on WDIY.org, along with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, NPR, and WDIY's YouTube and social media channels. Side note, there's also a video version of these podcasts that you can see on Spotify as well as YouTube, so check that out. A big shout out to making this possible for some of the people that are here in the room and also helped bring this to life. Laura Matthews with an awesome logo for the Young Valley Leaders brand. Matt Cajun live and in studio with us today behind the camera and making this interview come to life on screen. James, Seamus, and all the good folks at WDIY for giving us the time, the space to bring the show alive and supporting efforts to disseminate across the website, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, NPR, social media, and all the other fun channels. Again, I'm Louis Holzman, your host of Young Valley Leaders on WDIY 88.1 Lehigh Valley Public Radio. Thanks for tuning in, and until next month.